I feel like my opinion on that, it contradicts itself, but it makes sense in my own head. So, of course, every battler wants to be the guy with the belt on his shoulder that everyone's like, oh, he's the champ. But at the same time, I think it's incredible to be the guy who doesn't need the belt, who can just go up there off his own merit. People want to go and see him because they just enjoy his battle raps. I think that is way more impressive. Like guys like Pat Stay. So Pat Stay won the King of the Dot title, but he lost the title. He didn't suffer any popularity decline after that. In fact, he probably got bigger after it because he was just Pat Stay, and you'd watch every battle. I think to be at that point is the peak. That's the top of the mountain where you can just be the guy that people want to see with or without a belt.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but Shotty and Luna never won titles, right?
No.
So
no, I don't think they did. No.
So there you go. I mean, like, with all due respect, like, I know, Matt has been Premier Battles champ. I know Yunan's been Premier Battles champ. Craft D was Don't Flop champ for a bit. Quill's current champ for Don't Flop. Like, I'm not saying that these guys aren't worthy of championships, but I am saying that a lot of them would give their left nut to touch the popularity of a Luna C or a Shotty Horror, or even a Soul. Like, I get Soul was a long reigning champion, but the fact that he's not champion now wouldn't dampen a performance of Soul.
I don't think he doesn't need the title though, Soul. Especially now. I think if Soul was to return, if Soul's returned, it's not the ex Don't Flop champion. He's not known for that, really, in my opinion. When I think of Soul, I don't think of the guy who was the champion of Don't Flop. I purely think he's the guy whose writing is A1, who can lead me down a path that I can enjoy watching. I could go and watch Soul versus Ilmac now and still enjoy it as much as I did the first time I watched it. But at the same time, I think there's people out there whose title reigns are like, yeah, okay, that's really impressive. And I think when the title means something, it's great. But I think the title you don't need to have it. I don't think. And I think, I'm trying to think of the best example of it. Like, yeah, so Pat Stay's a good example of it. Shotty's a good example of it. Even Tony. Like, I don't think of Tony as a champion. I just see him as Tony. He's that guy who's that good, who can do anything on a battle rap stage. I think it's just something we've created in battle rap to make it more, I don't know, sellable.
Well, it gives it a hierarchy of some description, so you can funnel people down a road. But ultimately, it's like wrestling in the sense of, if you need to set someone on the path of becoming a champion to get people interested at first, fine. It's probably a good idea to make sure, though, that person has a reason for going. If it's just, well, they're just going after it because, no one's going to care. But if someone's got something that an audience can latch onto and say, I kind of want to see him do it. If that's just, I want to prove I'm better than everybody, and that doesn't need to be the title, it's just whoever they put in front of me I want to beat, fine. Yeah. Or if you've got someone like a Shuffle, or someone who just wants to be known as the most entertaining guy, he's not taking himself seriously in any sense of the word, that's fine. And then you've got someone like a Bobby Rex, like I say, who Bobby Rex's deal seems to be now, he just wants people to understand he isn't what they think he is. He is proving a point to everyone in the audience every time he does a performance that he is more dynamic and more of a performer rather than just a guy that froths at the mouth and gets in your face. So the point is, though, you're invested in that journey, whatever it is. And like you say, like with you, for instance, maybe that's the title, or maybe that's just you cultivate a persona people really start gravitating towards.
And do you know what? I would much rather have the latter. I'd much rather just be the guy who people like to watch and can win his battles. I'm not necessarily massively invested in, I'm going to be the champion. Of course, it's an aspiration that's there, because I think every battle rapper has that in their head, like, I am going to be the best in my country. And if you don't have that, you probably shouldn't be doing it. But at the same time, I'm fully aware that you can be successful without that. You don't need that. I feel like the thing with Bobby, like Bobby Rex is a good example of it. For me, Bobby Rex is someone I can watch Bobby and enjoy Bobby Rex's battles. But for Bobby, I think having the title would lift him more. And the reason I think that is because he's already lost to Bizzo. So if he beats Bizzo and becomes the champion, he's then at a level where he can just say, I am this guy. Here's the evidence. You know what I'm saying? I feel like, and I'm not saying Bobby now isn't who he says he is.
But there is a narrative of him ultimately, because that's
Exactly.
what I put this to Bizzo in an interview that hasn't been released as of the recording of this interview, where it's like, you understand, right, that not only has he got your battle with him as fuel, he's got this mindset that he's like the Marty McFly in the second Back to the Future. This isn't the timeline that's meant to happen. This is a skewed timeline, and I'm here to rectify it. That's something fans can go like,
rectify.
Yeah, he can do this. He can rectify it. He's right. That's why he's a battle rapper, and I'm just some scrub. That's you're right. Like that's something fans can go, I want to see if he can do it, and that's something that people can buy into, man.
Yeah, and that sells. That's why the title is good, because you can sell it. But for me, being the level above that is just being able to sell yourself because of who you are, as opposed to the accolades you've got. If that makes sense. Obviously the accolades have something to do with who you are, but I don't think they should always define you. I think the best performers don't let their accolades define them. Like, the best performers out there are just the best performers out there. They're not the best performers aren't always the champion, for example. So Pat wasn't the champion of Canada the whole time. Big K at the moment, who I think at the moment is the best battle rapper in the world. Incredible. He doesn't currently have a championship on a league. He's just who I enjoy watching the most. I'd rather be the guy that people enjoy watching, rather than the guy who can walk around with a title.